Hi, Jeannie Conant Kramer here. In this video, I'm going to show you a few tools that you can use to help get you started with drawing. Here we go. So if you're just starting out, I suggest that you get a sketchbook. This one that I have is 5.5 by 8.5. It's a little small. I would go a little bigger than that, maybe a 11 by 14. I like the gray, toned gray, but you don't have to get gray. It doesn't really matter. You can get white or tan. It really doesn't matter. But then just start making marks. And I've got just some little sketches that I've rough thumbnail sketches that I've done with the markers. And it's just to flesh out some ideas for paintings that I might like to try. So get yourself a sketchbook to start with. Okay, I recommend using these graphite pencils for just starting out. They come in various softness and hardness. There's HB, which is sort of a medium hard soft. 2B is a little bit softer, and then 4B is even softer than that. And what that means is that the softer that the pencil is, the darker the area that you're going to be able to get. So if I take the 4B, kind of turn it on its side and etch out that, and then I'm going to take the HB. It's a little harder, so it's not going to give me quite as dark of an area, and so forth. Okay, so you could start with these. There's also charcoal, which is what I really pretty much started with when I first started drawing, and I love it. There's vine charcoal, and this mainly, here, let me show you. This is mainly for vine charcoal. It's very lightweight, it's very delicate, and it's good for drawing edges for starters. If I'm going to put a mountain here, let's say. But then you can also kind of turn it on its side and get broad strokes with that as well. Okay, so it's really nice for that. And then you can take a blending stump, and I'll talk more about blending stumps in another video, but you can then sort of go very lightly and adjust your blending with that, so you've got some smooth edges there with your blending stump. Blending stumps are just rolled, tightly rolled paper, so it's very hard. And you can also, when it becomes pretty dirty, you can go to a separate page and kind of clean it off. You can also lightly sand it with light, fine grit sandpaper. But I go about, I'll talk more about those a little bit later in another video. So there's the vine charcoal. You can also use stick charcoal, and I've got these Alpha Color, and they're not real expensive, but there's individual sticks of charcoal, and so I started using these, and these make really broad strokes. You can also use the corner or the edge to make sharper lines, but you can turn it on its side and really just fill in lots of space with the stick charcoal. And then you can also use charcoal pencils. I've got charcoal pencils, and they come in various softness as well, just like the graphite pencils. And you can turn them on their side. So you have a little bit more control with the charcoal pencil to put it exactly where you like. There's also white charcoal, and then you can go back in and put highlights in with your white charcoal. So maybe there's some snow here on the hill, and okay. So there's white charcoal, and then there's various softness and hardness of other charcoal pencils. Now, something else you can get is a set of grayscale Tombow markers, and that's these here and these here. They don't come in a zipper pouch like this. I'll put a picture up of what they look like when you purchase them, but I went out and got this pouch myself because I thought it was perfect just to keep them all together. But the Tombow markers are, they each have a different value, and it's really nice for when you're doing some value studies, which I think would be a really good place for you to start, is doing value sketches. I've got one here that I did of a landscape from a photo, and I took, what I did was I took the Tombow markers and I just shaded in the darkest areas in that photograph, then the medium values, and then the lighter values. So I think a good thing for you to do to start is just to create a value scale. And that's where you just do it yourself on a piece of paper and create that value scale. I'll show you that. I'll put that up for you as well. And then start looking at values. Darkest darks, medium values, medium lights, and light values. And I think that's really going to help you with your drawing and with helping you to really see. It's what all artists do, is look at values, and it really helps them to see what it is that they're trying to achieve in their painting or their drawing. So there's more to come in this video, but first I just wanted to let you know about my free mini lesson that you can download. The link is down below in the description, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me. So if you're kind of afraid to start, try not to be afraid. You're not gonna. The only way you can get going really is to get started and start making marks on your paper. Don't worry if it's not perfect. We're not going for perfection here. Lots of artists make mistakes. There's lots of paintings that end up under the bed or out in the garage that are never going to be seen. So what I think would be good for you is to start looking at your photos or whatever it is you want to draw, and look at the values. Start finding your dark values. So here's some dark values. This is dark here, a little bit on the mountain ridge, a little bit back here, your dark values. And then look at your middle values. Middle values might be this dirt in the foreground and some of the little prickly pear cacti here and some of the trees back here, the green areas. And then your light values, lightest values. So they're dotted back here. There's some right in here, a little bit of the tips of the trees. Okay. So start getting into the habit of squinting your eyes and looking for all the different values. Let's try another one. Let's look at this one. Here's a photo that I took when I visited Colorado. And so where are the dark values? Where are your darkest values? So they're going to be, some of it is on this mountain here in the background. You've got dark areas right in here. The tree trunks are very dark. Okay, the shaded side of these rocks down in here and here, it's very dark, right? Okay, on some of these trees right in here. And then start looking for your middle values. And so a lot of this back here is mid-tone, even some of these highlighted trees where the sunlight is hitting them. A lot of the areas of the rocks are middle values. Some of the water here, the blue areas, are mid-tone or mid values. And this shaded side of these rocks right in here is mid, like right in here. And then your bright highlights, of course, the tops of your rocks are the brightest spots here. Okay, some of these brighter colored trees where the sunlight is really hitting them. And then, of course, your white water, the brightest areas. So start trying to get into the habit of looking at values. Not so much color, but what shade would that be if it was black and white? Okay, so here's another, and I've got, where's our brightest highlights? Maybe the top, if you really squint, the top of this metal roof, the sky back in here, your clouds. Mid-tones are going to be a lot of these different shades in the trees. And then your darks, the shadows, the tree trunks, this area right underneath the rooftop, your shadowing back in here. I would say the grass is a variation of some mid-tones. Okay, so start getting into the habit of looking at middle values. And then when you go to a picture, let me see if I can find it here. With, well, let's see, here's a couple right here. So I took my Tombow markers and I just marked out, it's just a quick study, quick sketch of different values in the bushes and the trees. This was a pathway, and then some bushes and trees over here on this side. And then I did this one. It's from a photograph that I took, but I just used, I looked at basic shapes. Start trying to find just your basic shapes of your whether it's a still life you're looking at or a landscape, maybe even a portrait. So we've got our basic shape, just a square, little rectangle, some little triangle action going on right here, and then just some organic shapes. Here's a shape, here's a shape, here's another shape. This sidewalk, there's a rectangular shape, big blobby shape right in here with this tree. Same with this one over here. So just shapes. Try not to see them as trees or as a face or as an apple or whatever it is you want to draw. And just start breaking things down into their basic shapes. Then once you've done that, take those Tombow markers or whatever markers you might have. It doesn't have to be markers. You could even do it with your charcoal pencil. But then start putting in your darkest values in those shapes that you see, and then your middle values, and then your light values, and start getting these thumbnail sketches out. And that's really going to help you to see the values and to see shapes, to see highlights and shadows, and that's going to help improve your drawing and your painting.